Hello guys, we are playing DragonHeir.
My name is Vikuk. 300 years ago, I was the trusted advisor of my old friend, Vilios, serving as the deacon of Sethyrelin. We tried everything. We tried to wake up Nytheris, and thus bring the Wood Elves back to the Grand Cycle. However, the ritual failed. The gravestones in this cemetery became even more in number.
Tell me about the failed ritual.
You know about the right of return?
Yesselia once mentioned it.
So, you've met Yathalia? That's right. 300 years ago, Nytheris guided us in activating the right of return, rebuilding the Blue Oak core so as to return to the Grand Cycle. That ritual, however, was a failure. And since Yathalia told you about the right of return, she probably told you why it failed, didn't she?
Is it because of Ivilius?
I see. So, that's what she said. All this time she's been looking up to Aphelios. That's why she lied to herself.
Yesselia deceiving herself.
This may not be entirely a lie, but just an excuse that Yathalia used to convince herself. But I know. My old friend Aphelios. He wasn't enchanted by the green dragon. He spoiled the ritual on purpose. I know. Because at that moment, there was not a trace of uncertainty in his eyes. Back then, what was on your mind, my old friend?
What is the truth of right of return?
The truth. I'd like to find out too. Learn the eel of germination. Eowyn and Shirvan of flowering. The withering. It should have been me. Why didn't you let me? I was willing to give all my strength. Why not? Not again. Don't leave me.
Vikuk, how are you?
The sand, it ran out. I saw it. Come. Come to me. Aphelios. Tell me. Give me an answer.
The radiance of spirituality passes in a flash, and Vikuk is drifting out of consciousness again.
Sand. It runs out. Sand. It.
Vikuk's voice is becoming weaker and weaker. You know he is at the end of his life. Oira de Tavaril. It is the prayer that Lorenthiel taught you to bring peace to a suffering soul.
Recite the prayer.
Oira de Tavaril. As you chant, tears drop from the eyes of the elder, slipping into his gray sideburns. His clenched palm slowly loosens. In his palm rests a key resembling a withered branch.
We get a memory key. Let's move on. Oh, no.
Worry not. I am here.
Hurt me!
Have at it, comrades!
Traitor!
Worry not. I am here. Have at it, come.
Try to hurt me!
Worry not. I am here. Yes.
Let's open the teleport. Learn deal. And where is voice? I'm sorry.
On the stone tablet are 2 lines of inscription. The withered branches of the oak are the memories that lay the foundation of the soul. I have come to guide you home. On the stone tablet are 2 lines of inscription. The withered branches of the brambles are the dark sufferings that shroud the soul. There is no light without darkness. On the stone, the withered branches of the ash are the joys that steal the light of the soul. The light is fleeting, but may it shine bright. The Sylvan Fury stands before the stone tablet, speechless and still as a statue. Around its neck hangs the key of the Withering.
Attempt to take the key of the withering.
Don't touch my key! Don't touch it! Don't touch it!
Okay.
Worry not. I am here.
Traitor! Wind and tree!
Have at it! Worry not. I am here.
Wind and trees! Unleash my anger! Hurt me!
Have at it, comrade. Great.
What's going on? How comes the Sylvan Fury hasn't disappeared? It's because Ivilius the Archipriest never really died. Okay. We got a key. Use it. The first one. The second one. And The third one. It's like a dream. Have you regained your senses?
I almost hurt an innocent. My apologies, traveler. Could you tell me what brings you here? I've been stuck in darkness for so long that time has abandoned me. So has the Grand Cycle.
The Wood Elves commissioned me to purify the three altars.
Yathalia. She's right. These three altars serve as bridges for the Wood Elf souls. You've purified them and awakened me. As a show of gratitude, I'm willing to clarify any doubts you have, traveler.
And what about you?
I was once High Priest of the Wood Elves, but now I'm merely a monstrosity that exists between life and death. In the past, I obeyed the voice of Nitherus and led my kinsfolk to perform a ritual at the three altars, hoping to revive the Blue Oak core. But a greater calamity was incurred. The corruption. Swaddling Forest's departed souls were all tainted by darkness.
What about that ritual?
That ritual is called the Rite of Return. But the origins of everything can be traced back to 1,000 years before the ritual took place. Back then, the green dragon dwelling in the Swaddling Forest suddenly went berserk and tried to destroy the Blue Oak. Nitherus spent all his power to seal the green dragon, and then fell into a slumber along with the Blue Oak core. The three altars were meant to channel the Wood Elf souls to the Blue Oak core, but its slumber meant that the Grand Cycle was broken from then on. For 1,000 years after, we had exhausted all methods to bring the Grand Cycle back, but it was all futile. Until that day, when I finally heard Nitherus' voice again. Nitherus told us that to restart the cycle, we had to perform the Rite of Return.
The Rite of Return is a ritual that took place 300 years ago that resulted in the creation of Sylvan Furies, fundamentally altering the fate of the Wood Elves and the other populations inhabiting Nytheria. You have heard the Wood Elves mention this ritual time and again. Piecing together your previous experiences, you have some speculations about the truth behind the Rite of Return.
The Rite of Return failed, leading to disaster.
Failure? That may have been what Yathalia told you. But actually, the Rite of Return is an evil ritual. The voice I heard was not Nitherus's, but the Green Dragon's deception. However, neither Yathalia nor I were aware of this trickery. We believed that we were chosen by Nitherus to carry out this great mission. Thus, we sacrificed the lives of our kinsfolk.
The sacrifice for the altar of germination.
Lauren Theo. Yathalia sacrificed her own child for this ritual. He was the most talented child among the Wood Elves. On the eve of the ritual, I met that child. He told me, "The forest is crying." The forest was crying. Apart from him, no one else could hear it. Perhaps that child was actually the one closest to Nitherus' spirit out of all of us.
The sacrifice for the altar of the flowering.
That was a tragic wedding. Awen's original groom escaped before the ritual began, but we refused to give up on the ritual, so Asher took his place instead. I deeply regret that my mentee Awen had to endure such pain. Neither she nor Asher should have died.
The sacrifice for the altar of the wizard.
My old friend Vikuk spent a long time persuading me to let him take my place as the sacrifice for the altar of the Withering. However, Just as the sacrifice was about to be completed, I heard derisive laughter. The cunning and wicked laughter of a dragon. The green dragon was mocking us, our stupidity, and everything that had happened, which he had already predicted. It couldn't contain its mirth.
So you stopped the right of return.
Yes. I finally realized that everything was a part of the Green Dragon's scheme. I used my final ounce of strength to interrupt the ritual, but I couldn't contain the outbreak of corruption. Trapped in the darkness, the souls which were unable to return to the Grand Cycle turned into sylvan furies, corrupting the forest and devouring its power. In the years that followed, Nytheria was plunged into darkness, while I could only watch helplessly, powerless to act, watching my student, my son, my dear friends, my kinsfolk, all descending into a miserable abyss. You must break this cycle of tragedy. Traveler, please stop Ythalia.
Stop Ythalia?
The rite of return requires only one last sacrifice. The most powerful warrior of the Wood Elves, Ythalia herself. Ythalia. She isn't the type who could learn how to give up. She's willing to pay any price in order to restart the Grand Cycle. Traveler, you must stop Ythalia. Once the rite of return is completed, the Green Dragon will break free from his 1,000-year seal and doom Nytheria to eternal ruin. You must stop all of this. The location of the final sacrifice is under the Blue Oak.
Okay. We have purified the last altar today. We will continue next time. Thank you for watching.